Hey, Shalom Markins, Rakam Akapash from GMS London, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Chakwadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom there to the hopeful elect pushing his truth and all sincerity. Back again with another video. I got this article here from the Guardian, okay, UK newspaper, and you devils are funny, man. Okay, you elitists, right? You Edomites, elitists, right? You're funny, right? And it goes to show you, man, that these elites don't care about the people at all, right? Don't give a damn. And a lot of these guys have been speaking their mind recently. You had one of these MPs talking about every so-called white person should have a black slave and all this kind of stuff, right? You devil's been talking recently, man, saying some wild ass shit, you know, some controversial shit. And this guy is not the first to say this. As you can see here, it says Britons need to accept that they're poorer, says Bank of England economist. Now, what you mean is the poor need to accept that they're poorer, right? Because this doesn't apply really to, guys that are, people that are well off, right? You might even say, oh, they're less better off than what they were, but these guys on these triple figure salaries, all right, are okay. They can still get food, they can still heat their house, no big deal. They can still do all that. But the poor, they're struggling. But you're telling them that they should just accept that. You're gonna pay for, the inflation. So don't ask for pay rises because you're increasing the inflation and blah blah blah. But what about these guys? What about these guys on these triple figure salaries? They're getting their pay rises, they're getting their bonuses. Their companies are earning, in profit and stuff like that. Why don't they curb all of that? Why don't they curb what they're earning and what they're profit taking? But they're never gonna do that, right? So the onus is always gonna be put on you poor people. Oh no, you can't ask for more because you know, it's gonna negatively affect the economy. Even though they're the ones struggling to eat and heat their house and buy clothes and whatever. They're in the wrong for asking for more. But these dickheads, they get to get bonuses and their money gets to go up as it always does. And this is why the wealth gap just gets bigger and bigger. They're always making more money, always making more money. During the pandemic, they were making more money, bigger profits. During this whole gas, energy crisis, them companies were making bumper profits. But the people, they were getting short out of pocket, you know. But they're in, the poor are in the wrong for asking for pay rises to get themselves, into a neutral territory, rather than, you know, uh, you know, getting less and less for their money. These dickheads, they go, they got their expensive cars and fucking yachts and shit. Anyway, let's read some of this article, man. But like I said, they don't give a shit about you. And ultimately, the plan is to have everybody poor, right? And there's only going to be the rich, you know, starting with the elite and the poor, right? That's what it's going to be. And the poor, they're going to get put on UBI because they're going to be so poor, right? UBI, okay, Universal Basic Income. That's what they're going to get put on, right? and this is why the digital pound is being developed for you, right? For the poor, right? Anyway, so Britons need to accept that they're poorer, says Bank of England economist. Chief economist Hugh Peel says workers and firms should stop trying to pass on rising costs by hiking prices or demanding better wages, right? But you're going to hear about this guy, right? So Hugh Peel, right? You remember his name, right? British households and businesses need to accept they are poorer and stop seeking pay increases and pushing prices higher, the Bank of England's chief economist Hugh Peel has said. Peel has said a game of pass the parcel is taking place in the economy as households and companies try to pass on their higher costs. Speaking on a podcast produced by Columbia Law School, Peel said it is natural for a household to seek higher wages in response to soaring energy bills, or for a restaurant to increase its prices. However, he said the UK is a big importer of natural gas, and its price has gone up a lot compared with the exports, mainly services which the UK sells to the rest of the world. If the cost of what you're buying has gone up compared to what you're selling, you're going to be worse off, he said. So somehow in the UK, someone needs to accept that they're worse off and stop trying to maintain the real spending power by bidding up prices. Well, these corporations should be the ones to do that. Those that are already mega rich, you know, ones that don't need to have profit every single year, But guess what? They're run by these elites, these CEOs and the boards and all that kind of stuff. They want to get paid, and they don't give a shit about who's gonna suffer for them getting paid extra. They don't give a fuck, right? You're gonna pass on those prices. You're gonna make these people pay more money. That's what it is. They don't give a damn. Okay, we're gonna be richer this year than last year. That's what they're concerned about, man. And whoever buying the gas or whatever, buying whatever, okay, they're gonna pay for it. That's the way it is. It should be them. It should be the rich that make that decision. But no. All right. So someone in the UK, somehow in the UK, someone needs to accept that they're worse off and stop trying to maintain their real spending power by bidding up the prices, right? But it shouldn't be the poor. So whether higher wages or passing energy costs through onto customers, and what we're facing now is that reluctance to accept that. Yes, we're all worse off and all have to take our share, but even if that was the case, even if we're all worse off, some are worse off than others, man. Like big time. Like I said, you on triple figure salary, yeah, you might be worse off than last year or whatever, right? But you're not having real problems, not really, not compared to you ain't got to make those kind of decisions where, like I said, you can either afford to feed your family or heat the house. You ain't making those types of decisions. You don't have to. You're not that down bad yet. Yeah, a triple figure salary is okay. Well, triple figure salary is okay, but if you live in London, you probably need more than that. if you plan to buy a house and shit, but a triple figure salary is good. Okay, you're okay. You're doing all right, man. Okay, you're not quite an elite yet. Far from it, but you're doing okay, right? Compared to the median household income, which is going to tell you is like 32 grand. All right, you're far better off than those guys. All right. Anyway, let's get on. So instead, people try and pass that cost onto one of our compatriots, saying we'll all be all right, but they will have to take our share too. That pass to pass game that's going on here, that game is generating inflation. Okay, so that's the cause of inflation, all right, apparently, right? And that part of inflation can persist. Last year, Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey was widely criticised after saying workers should not ask for big pay rises. Okay, the common people, the common folk, okay, the labourers, right, to try and stop prices rising out of control. But he didn't. They want to make you make those decisions, man, for you. Someone's gonna do it. Yeah, and then they're pointing the finger at the poor. Yeah, they should do it. Peel's comments risk attracting fresh criticism that Threadneedle Street is out of touch over the cost of living crisis at a time when public sector workers have been striking as they sought pay rises to match or beat inflation. Okay, they have every right to do so. They come on a day in which Nestle, PepsiCo, and McDonald's have all reported that higher prices boosted their sales this year. And as UK families face 17.3% grocery inflation in supermarkets, right? So these low-paid jobs, McDonald's is a low-paid job. I don't know about the other two, right? But I know McDonald's is, right? It's like it's your minimum wage type job, right? And they're getting greater profits and greater sales because they've put up the prices, right? But they're not necessarily but they're not counterbalance that into all. Maybe we should pay our workers more because they're struggling. They don't give a shit about your workers, man. All they care about is making the extra profit to pay, their board members, man. That's what they're really concerned about. They ain't gonna pass on the profits onto the employees, which would allow McDonald's to break even, which is fine. Okay, it means you're saying yourself, right? But they ain't gonna pass on the profits to the workers. No, it's gonna go to the board members, man. And they're already fucking rich. They already got everything that they could ever need. They don't need extra. Okay, but the poor do. Right? So Bailey was paid, okay, the Bank of England governor, right? So he said this, he said this first, or well, more recently, right? So Bailey was paid almost 500 grand in the year to 28th of February, right? So he's got half a mil, right? So ask him to take a pay cut. Will he see if he'll do that? See if all these guys on that type of money will take a pay cut. Let's say 80%. See if they'll take an 80% pay cut. It's unlikely he's gonna want to do that, right? Because even 80% is still, it's still got you 100 grand, which is more than everybody else, right? This is while Peel was paid 88 grand for the first 5 months, so he got 88 grand in 5 months. 5 months, right? And 24 days, according to the central bank's annual report, taking his annual salary to 180 grand, right? So these guys are not short of money. Like they're not having an issue. They haven't got problems like these man on the median wage, which it says here. So according to the last official data, median average household disposable income last year was 32 grand, 32,300, right? He ain't experiencing what it's like to be on 32 grand. They ain't, well, they know, but they don't care to understand. They don't care to sympathize with you on the lower incomes down there. Because as far as he's concerned, like, well, they should just accept that they're poorer. I'm okay, I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm 180 grand. I got 3 houses and 10 cars, a couple cars or whatever, right? He's okay. His fridge is full. He's settled. He got everything, man. These men on 32 grand ain't got shit. They got some fucking, at best they got some dodgy mortgage, right? A couple kids, maybe a couple cars, maybe, but not a premium car. They got a couple cars. Kid, the wife and the husband got to get around if they're fucking married. Whatever, right? They got to get around, got to go to work and that. They got to pay the insurances and shit like that. That all that is costing money, man. It costs money to work, right? And yeah, but their fridges and their heating is extortionate now. Okay, the travel cost is extortion. Maybe they ain't got 2 cars. Maybe they got 1 car. One travels to work on train. The train prices are going up. Bus prices going up. Annually, these numbers are crazy, and so these men are living on the fucking edge. These men are living on the edge. However, you ain't living on the edge. On 180 grand and 495 grand a year, you're not living nowhere close to the edge yet. Okay, but the time is coming, and then we will see. For some of these cats, maybe not Andrew Bailey, maybe he too up there, but maybe this 180 grand dude, Mr. Pill or whatever his name is, right? Maybe he gonna find himself in the fucking lower category soon. We see if he's still talking that same shit, because this world is gonna crash, okay? And some of these men are gonna suffer big time, man. They're gonna get dragged down into the fucking lowest stratus of society, Certain guys are juiced in with the elite. Yeah, they're gonna be, put in different positions or whatever. But a lot of these guys, man, they think they're safe on 180 grand, man. 180 grand ain't gonna be fucking safe in that day. So the headline rate of inflation in the UK fell by less than expected in March to 10.1% from 10.4% in February, as households came under pressure from food and drink prices soaring at the fastest annual rate since 1977. The bank is widely expected to decrease interest rates for the 12th time in a row next month, 0.25 percentage points to 4.5%, as it attempts to curb inflation. That's all pretty much the point. Oh, let me get this bit. It says last month, the United Union reported that Large corporations have fueled inflation with price increases that go beyond rising costs of raw materials and wages. Yeah, they man take the piss, right? This trend of greedflation is causing growing concern in central banking circles, given companies have had little trouble in hiking their prices. Many companies have taken advantage of the return of inflation to inflate their prices excessively at the risk of stimulating an inflationary spiral, warned Charles Henry Monchow, Chief Investment Officer at Bank says the Baltic Swiss Bank private bank. So the idea is simple. When the world prices rose because of supply and demand, companies raised their prices, but they didn't just raise them to cover higher costs. They have fueled inflation with price increases that go beyond the rise in raw material costs and wages, pushing their revenues to record levels. That's what they're doing, man. Right? But the poor are paying for it, as they always do. The weakness of the pound has also pushed up the cost of imports. Sterling fell to a record low last autumn after the mini budget chaos, hitting $1.03. But has now recovered to about $1.24. All right, this is before this 2016 Brexit vote. The pound was worth $1.50. Yeah, so pounds getting smashed. All right, but these guys have a proud and the audacity of it. But let's get the scriptures now. Right, this is Psalm 73 verse 8. It says I'm gonna start from verse 3. Right, it says for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. Right, and these Edomites, they're in the top places, man. They're in their heaven right now. They're in rulership, right? They get to talk of this shit because they're sitting nice. The further up you are, obviously, the more nice you're sitting, man. But even these guys on 180 grand, it's just small, is pennies compared to the elites, obviously. But these men are still sitting nice. They're sitting nice, comfortable from a lot of evil right now. As say, money is a defense. Right, they not got to deal with the same issues and problems financially that the poor got to deal with. But you're gonna tell the poor, oh, don't ask for pay rises to help yourself. Don't ask for that. While you're sitting there nice, you ain't fucking trying to help. You ain't trying to help the situation at all, right? It says, for there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men. They ain't in trouble like other people, man. Right? So they think they get to, talk this shit, right? Neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compasses them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish, right? Like I said, all these guys, they already got enough. They already got enough, man. All right? And yet, they want to prevent you from having enough. And like I say, it goes with all this, all the genders that are moving right now, because the WEF, we keep bringing it up, man, because the agenda, the motive is important to understand, right? Where it all leads, man. You will own nothing. You will become so poor, you can't own anything. Everything is going to be stripped away from you, and that's why guys like this, they can talk that shit right now. They can say, oh, they want you to go into poverty, into dependency. When this MOTB is rolled out, you ain't gonna have many options, man. Right? In fact, it's gonna be your only option for those of you it's like that don't have faith. All right, that's gonna be the only option, right? And you're gonna take the MOTB, man, and you're gonna be appreciative, right? So this is where you'll be happy part comes in. You're gonna be appreciative, right? That you're in this system now and that you don't actually have to buy anything because you ain't gonna own anything, right? You're gonna be given ration credits, right? Your digital pounds or whatever, right? You're gonna be given your credits and you're gonna be ration stuff. You should be given stuff, as a universal basic income thing, But the same won't apply to the elites because the elites have everything, man. They ain't gotta ask, they ain't gotta beg, They're gonna operate on a whole different level. Because they're the ones that are gonna own everything. Because you can't afford to. Right? So they're gonna take everything from you, man. Right? So their eyes stand out with fatness, they have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily, okay? They speak proudly. And that was a proud ass statement, man. You know, British need to accept that they're poor, says the Bank of England economist. Because he's good. He could say that because he's okay. If he was on 32 grand, he wouldn't be saying it. He wouldn't write it, he wouldn't, say in this interview what he said if he was on 32 grand. He wouldn't be saying it, man. Right? But because he is where he is, he feels comfortable. Right? And he feels like, oh, yeah, the people are just leeches of society. And that's how the elites look at you, man. It's that superiority complex shit. They deserve to be where they are. They deserve to be, in safety or whatever, man. You poor people, you're just a blight. Bringing everything down. They're useless eaters, right? And that mentality, that's the mentality that they have, right? So yeah, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. All right, and that's exactly what you're hearing there. This is Sirach chapter 13, verse 20. Let's hold it quickly. Read up a bit. Verse 17. What fellowship have the wolf with the lamb, so the sinner with the godly? What agreement is there between the hyena and the dog? And what peace between the rich and the poor? Right? The rich don't give a damn about the poor. And the rich of the Esau, the rich in this world are these devils, man, these Edomites. And so doubly they don't care. All right? It says, as the wild ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor. Okay, they're always looking to take more from the poor. You're going to pay for the shit, man. They're going to get richer and you're going to get poorer, man. And it's been a trend that's been going on for fucking ever almost. Pretty much, right? And it's a well-known statistic. And yet, nothing's ever done about it. Okay, wealth isn't redistributed, in a balanced way. Okay, the poor always struggle. And they seem to struggle more and more and more. So as the ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor. As the proud hate humility, so doth the rich abhor the poor. All right, they hate the poor, despise the poor. They don't want to relate to the poor. I'm not poor. So a rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends, but a poor man being down is thrust away by his friends. Right, and that's the truth, man. The poor receive very little help. Right? So when a rich man is fallen, he have many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, and yet men justify. So he might be talking shit, a whole bunch of wickedness, but because he's rich, and you got friends, and that move like him, that think like him, kind of thing. They'll support him, and those that are, that look up to him, that are poorer than him, they will justify him because he's rich. People have got a lot of respect for rich people in this world, man. Very what's the word, man? Undeservedly, just because they're rich, these people get mad respect. People want to listen to them. Okay, but these guys, they ain't fucking righteous or nothing like that to be respected. So he speaketh things not to be spoken, and yet men justify him. The poor man slipped, and yet they rebuked him too. He spake wisely and could have no place. So a poor man don't get heard, don't get respect. He don't respect nobody that's poor. He don't respect people on 32 grand asking for more money. He don't respect that. The man should not be asking for more. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look, what he saith, they extol it to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him. Riches are good unto them that have no sin, and poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly. All right. This is Proverbs chapter 22, verse 16. It says, he that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. Right? And like I said, these rich, these elites, man, beginning with the top banking families, right? They oppress the earth, man, to increase their riches, to take everything from everybody. Okay, again, WEF settings, right? So that is part of what they're doing. They're taking everything from the earth for themselves and leaving you with nothing. All right, but again, the Most High is gonna put an end to that, right? And everything that they collected is gonna be taken away from them. You know. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse. I'm gonna start from the top, right? Because this is the mindset of the wicked. It says, "For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy, neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave." Okay, they have this mindset that, you know, they have to, for the time that they're on earth, they must do as much as they can. Okay, as much wickedness as they possibly can. They must to fulfill their lusts as they can, do what they want before they die. Right? And he's been on a mission to try and achieve immortality through his technology and that, right? But you know, these that ass Edomites, they're still dropping dead. Queen's gone, Evelyn's gone, Evelyn Rothschild's gone, right? You know, they're still dropping dead. So, you know, but they've been trying to do this whole immortality thing, right? But so they're trying to get as much done as they can while they're alive, right? So verse 2, "For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the movement of our heart, which being extinguished, our bodies shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air. And our names shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance. And our life shall pass away as a trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun, and overcome with the heat thereof. For our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning. For it is far sealed, so that no man cometh again." Okay, which is not true, right? The flesh may die, but the spirit returns, man, and it comes back in another vessel, man. Right? This whole "you only live once" thing isn't true. All right. It says, "Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass us by." Right, and that's what these guys be doing, man. You know, some more than others, right? This guy on 180 grand ain't doing as much as the guy on 500 grand. You know, but they all get in their field on their different levels, man. You know, and these are just their salaries, by the way. These men have got, I'm sure these guys got other investments and things going on, right? These are just their annual salaries that they get paid for their job roles that they supposedly do, right? But you know, we know that there's other things going on, right? Yeah. So on different levels, but they're filling themselves with whatever their heart desires, man. Basically, right? So let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place, for this is our portion, and our lot is this. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Right? So they don't give a damn about the poor people or the righteous, right? Because ultimately, we're the poor and righteous men, the Israelites. Okay, they have us in captivity, man. God's children, right? And he's, like I said, oppressed us and brought us down low. So they don't give a damn about us. They don't give a damn about people in general. Right? They don't even give a damn about their own people, these Edomites. So they don't give a damn. If you're not on their level, they don't give a damn about you, man. You're nothing but fodder. Useless eaters to them. Right? So let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient grey hairs of the age, man. So they've got no respect for nobody. Right? Let our strength be the law of justice. Might is right. And that's something that, it said about, the American military, right? Might is right. Because they have the power to enforce things. Right? So let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble, that is weak, is found to be nothing worth. They don't respect the weak. They'll abuse the weak. Because they're nothing but bullies, man. That extort the weak. You know? So it's not surprising that, you know, these companies, they make profit, and, you know, you consumers, right, you customers or whatever, are getting effed over, and the workers are getting effed over. There's no surprise. They don't give a damn. Never have done. All right. This is 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 6 says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content, right? So this is how the mentality you're supposed to be in. Whatever level the Lord's got you on, man, you need to, you know, make the best of it, right? And be content with what you got, right? But here it is, this guy, you know, he taking shots at the poor, asking for more, because some of them are even struggling to have food and raiment. You know, these, like I said, they're making hard decisions down there, and you know, we're using the 32 grand as the, because it is the median, right? 32,300, right? But then, hey, a lot of Britain's on a lot less than that, right? A lot less. All right, so like I said, some men are making hard decisions with whatever income they got going on, right? So some of them can't even get the food and raiment that they require, right? And they would deny them those things by saying don't ask for more money. That's, I don't know, somehow immoral. Immoral to ask for more money, so you don't have to struggle so bad, because you ain't struggling. These guys ain't struggling, man. All right. We're gonna close up with this. This is from James chapter 2, verse 6, right? It says, but ye have despised the poor. Do not rich men oppress you and draw you before the judgment seats, man? They're making you pay for everything. Okay, they're gonna criticize you. Okay, they're gonna what's that? Berate? I'm thinking one of those words that I rarely ever use, man. I can't think of it right now, man. They're gonna belittle you, right? They're gonna, like, you know, people, you know, out here doing all these strikes, and that all they do is paint them in a bad light. You know, that's what they're gonna do to you. You're gonna, you know, make you look like the bad guy and all this for wanting to you know, prevent yourself from being poor. You know what I'm saying? You know, because they might argue, oh yeah, but you know, some men are on the right money. You know, but if we carried on the way you're saying, and then we should never ask for more money, eventually we'll end up poor, we should be poorer and poorer and poorer. But that won't be that won't happen with the rich. The rich will get richer in the same time. You know, basically what they're saying, we should just accept our stations in life, man. That you're just gonna you're the poor. You're gonna remain poor, and eventually you're gonna die because you're gonna be so fucking poor that, you know, we don't care that you can't afford to eat and whatever. In fact, that's why you need to be put on the government um, government scheme, you know, which they're giving less and less out, by the way, too. These governments are, you know, these benefits, and that, you know, people are getting less and less benefits too. You know, so yeah, you're getting pushed into getting effed, and they don't care. They don't care, man. Okay, because they despise the poor. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna end it there. So Lord, this is edifying, and I'll catch you, brothers and sisters, on the next video, man. So till next time, I say shalom.